Hi, my name is Alexis Adderton, and today I want to talk to you all about the tennis rules, scoring, and positions. I have been playing tennis for 5 years now. I've been playing since freshman year of high school to now. I played from freshman year to senior year on the high school team, and now I just play for fun on my own time. Tennis quickly became one of my favorite sports. I didn't know if I was going to like it, but I decided to try it, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I love watching it, just talking about it. I just absolutely love it. Here's a picture of me playing. I went to state for tennis with my high school team twice. I've played both singles and doubles. So for the scoring with tennis, it sounds kind of complex, but it's really not that bad once you get the hang of it. So you have your love, which is 0, 15, 30, and 40. Tennis is based off a 4-point system, so those are your 4 score points, and after 40 you would have won the match. And then in certain situations you would have deuce. Deuce is when you're tied at 40-40 and only when you're tied at 40-40. You can go, either after you hit deuce, you'd be advantage in or advantage out the next point you score. If you're serving and it's advantage in, you get that next point, you will win the game. But you can go back to deuce as many times as possible. So you can go from advantage in to deuce, to advantage out, to back to deuce, just as many times as y'all are playing. I mean, there's no regulation at how many times you can go into deuce. So we have a point system where we do 2 sets of 6 or 1 set of 8. I think it's Tennessee that does one set of 8 for their game matches, but in Georgia we do 2 sets of 6, which is you play 6 games and whoever wins that last game wins that set if you have more than the other. It could be like 6-3, it just depends on the game, but whoever reaches 6 first does win that set. And this is the one I typically saw playing high school games, and after each game you'd move it up, and then once you're done with the set you'd move it up to the top. This I saw in a state match, and it's very similar except you're flipping instead. Some of the positions in swinging at tennis. So there are 2 different positions for tennis, which is singles and doubles. I've played both. In singles, you're covering the whole entire court, but in doubles, you typically have one person up at the net and one person back at the baseline. You can switch back and forth, but typically you always want to have one up and one back. I have seen some people play both at the baseline and then just run up and run in back when they need to. That's not personally how I did it, but some people do play like that. And I want to discuss some of the basic swings and hits in tennis. So we have our serve right here. You'll do that at the beginning of the game. And then you have your forearm, your backhand, your volley, and your smash. And your smash is going to be done when you're up close to the net. I would also like to discuss some of the basic rules of the game. So when you're serving, you must stay behind the baseline. You cannot cross that baseline until after your racket has connected with the ball. You're aiming for the opposite service box across from you. If you hit the net and it still goes in that service box, it's called a let. You can reserve with no punishment. But if you hit it and it goes in the opposite service box or out of bounds, it's going to be a fault. 2 faults equals a deduction in points. The other opponent will get that point. After each serve, you switch sides. You alternate sides. Some other ways that you can lose points is if you're hitting it out of bounds. So out of bounds for doubles is going to be this big blue space back here. But in singles, it's a bit of a more out of bounds space. So your singles line is right here. So even this part of the court right here would be out of bounds for singles, but that wouldn't be out of bounds for doubles. That concludes the basic rules of the game. Thank you again for listening to this. I hope you feel more comfortable talking about, watching, or even playing tennis. Some of the basic rules, knowing some of your hits and swings, and knowing the scoring makes it a lot easier to discuss, play, or watch the game. Thank you very much. Goodbye.